American schools are making kids super violent.
Back in high school or middle school, I remember one of the greatest experiences of all time was taking a sick day. Well,
That's
that was
true.
until I realized I missed out on some of the greatest experiences ever witnessed by mankind. For example, either the most random music artist would show up on campus, give a performance, or the craziest Royal Rumble, WWE, UFC type of fight took place.
It's true, and it's always on the days I was sick.
In a cage match or something. And don't get me wrong, it was bad that I missed out, but the worst part isn't even the fact that I missed out on the action, it's the fact that I had to watch the footage back on the worst, most pixelated device I have ever imagined.
It's
It looked like
true.
somebody brought their smart TV from their home, a toaster oven, or a goddamn iPod Nano and recorded it. But looking back at it in hindsight, at the firm old age as I am now of 22 years old, I'm thinking back like, bro, there was low-key a lot of fights, okay? Almost two.
Yeah, it's
But
true,
if I
there
thought it
were a
was
lot
bad
of
back
fights.
Then it's getting really, really bad right now. Would you believe me if I told you that actually school fights, school incidents, or school violence has been on an increase of about 300%?
300%?
Discovered right here, the number
Actually, I would
of
probably
violent
believe
incidents has increased
that.
more than 300% from the first year of data
I can
collection,
believe
2016
that.
to 2017, to the most recent school year in 2023 to 2024. And then for more context, violent incidents in schools appear to have declined from 2023 to 2024. However, when false reports such as swatting are removed from calculations, there's an actual increase of 49% in number of violent incidents in 2023 to 2024 when compared to the previous year.
Oh, wow.
49% is quite a lot. Incidents related to violence and posing the most critical risk for students increased 22% during the 23 to 24 school year. Of these incidents posing the most critical risk, 13% involved a weapon or threat
Oh
of
my
a deadly weapon.
goodness,
Incidents related to
13%?
violence increased 21% for
That's
elementary,
still a lot, to be
13% for middle school,
honest.
and 20% among high school. So this is all across the board, okay? Your little cousin Tommy, your little cousin Timmy in elementary school was like 5, 6, 7 years old. He might be getting it on. He might be a little pipsqueak, a squirt, somebody that you can stuff inside of a toilet and give
That's
a swirl.
true.
But he's out here getting active in elementary school fighting other students. Same goes for middle
And
school.
elementary
and
school
high
is
as well. I
insane.
actually would have thought high school was the highest percentage, but having elementary being the highest percentage kind of makes sense a little bit because elementary school students probably deal with their emotions in the worst way possible and probably don't know how to self-regulate, especially
That's
if they have some
true.
lackluster millennial parents. I'm sorry. 11.6% increase in weapons were found on school grounds. 2,275 different weapon incidents were reported by the Washington's public-private schools. Other reports involved knives, daggers, or other weapons. Besides just looking at the statistics, of course, they're going to be extremely alarming, but usually when I see statistics, I always think, okay, is it just a stat? Is it something that we've experienced? Bro, there are entire compilations of school fights that I damn near see every single day, like school
Yeah, I
crash outs,
see
whether
so
that's
many.
the teacher crashing out on the students, the
There's
students
so
crashing
many
out on the
teachers
teacher,
just-
or the
just
students fighting each
freaking
other.
out
There
on
is always
students.
something going down. As a matter of fact, there are entire sections in Discords that are labeled school fights that showcase some of the chaotic events that happen within those
That's
walls that we know
crazy.
as school. As a matter of fact, I don't even have to go to very far on Discord. Literally in my very own Discord server. And immediately on site, another
Oh,
example.
wow. Oh my
That
goodness.
is definitely not getting showed. What type of goofy fight is this, bro?
What in
Y'all
the
have been all
world?
just holding hands and making up, bro.
Let's get
this
back
looks
to
like we were
class,
fighting for
please.
fun. Back in my school, there was events. People would just do slap boxes during lunchtime just for fun, for the fun of it, bro. You're risking getting suspended, expelled, injured, or just straight up getting exposed for taking an L on Snapchat or Instagram stories. But besides just straight up fighting videos, I remember seeing videos of people throwing Chromebooks, people arguing with
Chromebooks?
teachers, people throwing chairs.
Throwing Chromebooks that's crazy.
And other crazy violent behavior within those school walls. There still is a lot of bullying going on. Contrary to popular belief, sometimes I heard that people don't believe in bullying, or matter of fact, even worse, people are saying we need to bring back bullying. Like,
Bring
no,
back
we don't, bro.
bullying? That
I'm
is
sure there are a
not
couple clips
what
that
we
really
should
show
do.
and put bullying into perspective.
Waden was bullied almost every single day for being different, and it got so bad to the point where he doesn't want to live anymore.
That is sad.
Look, I'm gonna come to your lunch, okay? I'm gonna come to your lunch.
There are actually so many kids who genuinely fear going to school because they feel like they're risking their life and putting their safety on the line just because they're existing and being themselves among the classroom. You don't understand. If you look different, if you seem different, especially if you're special ed or you're on the spectrum, people will make fun of you
People bully
the
you
way
for
laugh, the way
anything.
you
It's
look, the way you
sad.
talk, the way you act,
It's
the way
so
you breathe.
sad.
There is so much ableism going on within schools. And regarding more information or statistics around the concept of bullying, in case you thought that bullying might have died down or bullying is not as bad as it used to be, from July 2021 to December 2023, 34% of teenagers were bullied in the last 12 months. Rounding down, that's about 3 out of 10 students experiencing bullying. And
Oh,
if that's the
wow.
case, how many kids are actually being the perpetrators of bullying? It's also important to note that if you were gay or you were transgender, you were much more likely to be bullied at 47%.
47%?
Were more likely to be bullied compared
That's
to
almost
teenagers in other
half.
racial groups. Teenagers with disabilities, as I said before, 44%. 19% of students reported being bullied during the 2021 to 2022 school year. Among students who reported being bullied, 14% of males and 28% of females reported being bullied online or by text.
Oh my
So, number one,
goodness.
first things first, I want to say this
I know
19%
cyberbullying is a
actually
big
probably
thing.
a lot higher, because you know how many people are actually getting bullied and don't want to report it because they don't want to seem soft or they don't want to get other people involved. Oftentimes when you're a victim of really any type of harmful experience that feels like you're threatening your safety and potentially even putting yourself in more danger by reporting these bullies, because let's face it, bro, a lot of times when you do report a bully, what really happens? Do they get expelled? Do they get suspended? I don't know. They probably get a slap on the wrist, and then you won't see that same big obnoxious bully the next day in school. Okay, he
It's
might turn it
true.
on you even worse, or she. And then another thing that's interesting is they reported being bullied online or by text. That's one thing I feel like is more of an issue within today's day, because you know we're in the digital age. I mean, nowadays it's very easy to just send somebody some slurs online, send somebody some hate,
It's
spam
too
them,
easy.
tell their friends
Way
all to
too
spam
easy
them. Like, I
online.
imagine how cyberbullying has gotten really bad and out of hand, especially when a lot of kids are given unsupervised access to technology. I mean, kids are on TikTok, Discord, social media, anything you can think of, they're all there. They're watching the most crazy videos. I mean, back in the day, bro, the first person to show me adult content was a kid in middle school. The first person to show me a cartel video was also a kid in middle school. Brief admission, if you're enjoying the video so far, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 200,000 subscribers. Also, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the second channel right here. Hey, hello, we're dropping videos every single day. We're on the road to 100,000 here as well. And while I was doing research for this video, especially in the concept of bullying, one thing that really stood out to me is the fact that, okay, there are so many kids who report on bullying or who did get bullied, and we know about bullying. I mean, we all went through that time in school where we got some type of assembly that talked about bullying, but the truth
I
is,
remember those
teachers only
assemblies.
intervene in about 14% of classroom bullying. That statistic shows right here, and it says only 14% of playground episodes of bullying. School staff is generally unaware of the extent of bullying and victimization problems, even though much of bullying occurs on the playground, hallways, classrooms, locker rooms. I think kids who are bullies are also really good at, you know, hiding it or disguising it around other people, and then they'll go as soon as the freaking teacher doesn't look and then shove you in a locker. I mean, I'm gonna be honest,
It's
if you get
true.
shoved in a locker in 2025, I'm gonna look at you a little crazy. That's how bullying only happens in the goddamn movies. Real bullying looks a lot different, okay? Sometimes it's making fun of the way you dress, sometimes it's making fun of the way you have no money, which was, hey, that happened to me. I mean, if you ever had the experience of dropping your Android phone in the middle of class and your battery coming out, your screen cracking, and everybody in the class laughing at you,
Sometimes
hey, I know
bullies
exactly
have
what that
really
feels like.
weird
Some of y'all
and
will never
slick
know the pain
ways of
coming to school
bullying
with
you
holes in your shoes,
and making
clothes,
fun of
being
you and
like,
stuff.
Oh, this is just for the fashion, bro. It's not for the fashion. I'm getting hand-me-downs from my generations, uncles, cousins, brothers, mom, sisters, dad. A kid coming up to me back in the day telling me, give me your lunch money, hurts less than somebody coming up and clowning the fact that I had no money, bro. That is real bullying, I swear. Teachers are only able to accurately identify fewer than 1/2 of bullies identified by peers. Parents are often similarly unaware of the extent of bullying and victimization, and they do not discuss bullying with their children. The way people talk about bullying is a little bit outdated to an extent. Like, I'm telling you, bullying is not just pushing somebody.
Hey, that's some nice books you got over there. Boom. Beat it, chump.
People bully in all types of ways, whether that's online now, which is obviously very much
People
impossible
bully
to
in
catch if
so
you're
many
teaching.
types of
And there are
ways.
altercations that happen in the natural flow of classroom or passing period between going class to class. Also, when kids are getting bullied, 9 times out of 10, I feel like they're not gonna come out and talk to a damn teacher, okay? I had a friend who was telling me, bro, I tried to talk to a teacher, and the teacher just looked at me crazy. My thought process, I'm like, bro, aren't these teachers supposed to be like mandated reporters? But it really
Yeah,
feels like
aren't they
teachers
supposed to
don't really
help?
understand, bro, especially if they don't come from the same type of cloth as you. So odds are the children is gonna come out and talk to their parents, but a lot of times, you know, parents will dismiss it.
The teachers always here to be out there to learn nothing. They don't feed us nothing at lunch.
Why are you talking about these
Always
teachers be putting
getting
these teachers don't do nothing to you. If you're getting bullied, you need to go talk to somebody about it. You need to go talk to a psychiatrist or something about it. Don't come to me trying to come to me and cry about somebody bullying you. Ain't no dropping out of school. Ain't no dropping out of school. You're gonna stay in school. You're gonna do what you gotta do. No, because I'm
This is kinda sad.
Stay in school. I don't care what you're going through. I
The
don't
first thing
care.
she's doing is just yelling at him. That's not really what a parent should be
You
doing.
can move how you want to move. So then get out. Get out of my house.
And I feel like as a kid, a lot of times if you're not being heard out by your parents, that really shuts you off from talking to anybody else in the rest of the world, because those are the people who are supposed to hear you out the most. And it's so weird. Some people will take the side of the faculty, the staff, or even the bully, because like you don't even know them, bro. That's low-key D-riding, bro. You glaze into somebody you never even met before. Believe your own goddamn kid. Plus, why would I lie about being bullied? I already lose aura from explaining the fact that I'm being bullied. Coming out and saying that you're getting bullied, there's no swag behind it.
There's
no swag
definitely
behind it.
none.
Now that we noticed the
No
phenomenon
swag.
of violence in schools and a very large uprise in school school fights, school bullying, etc. I want to talk about why this might be happening. The pandemic took place. Gen Z, we lost out on a crucial maybe like 2 to 3 years. I really feel like since 2020 through about 2023, we really felt the effects of the pandemic. And that was when we were about to graduate high school. Especially for Gen Alpha and kids these days, those 2-3 years were maybe when they were in 5th, 6th, 7th grade, maybe even younger. Those are very, very impactful or important when you're developing social skills.
It's true. Those are pretty good grades for that.
So the fact that maybe they had bad parents, maybe they were stuck on technology, maybe they didn't learn how to connect with people at a young age, kind of turns them into more unstable people, makes it harder for them to learn how to regulate their emotions, which maybe makes a more angry or violent generation. I think that coupled with the idea of social media, like for example, school fights, people record school fights, people participate in school fights because they go viral, they go so crazy, they want to get that internet fame. If you whoop somebody crazy in school fights, everybody gonna know you as the backyard legend. Maybe I'm looking a little bit too deep, but I feel also like trends such as rage bait kind of exasperate issues of cyberbullying in a way among kids. The other day I seen a grown man talking about CP and saying,
Oh, chill, bro. It's just rage bait.
Watch that little bitch. Watch that little bitch.
Yo, am I finna get a little cut out of y'all videos? I just got you $1 million cut. Where's my cut? I'm not playing.
and things like that are
What?
insane, right? But when kids see stuff like this online,
What did
they
I just
might go ahead
read?
and run off with it, whether that's in people's DMs. I mean, I get the most crazy comments all the time about people calling me a fried chicken and rice enjoyer and things like that because, oh, black and Asian. And I'm just like, bro, so some of these kids are already a little angry, a little bit ruthless, have maybe
These
poor
kids
mental
are
health,
really
were heavily disrupted by
insane.
the effects of the
Like,
pandemic.
why would you
Maybe
say
they have
something like
bad
that?
parents, and they're seeing a lot of social media trends that normalize saying crazy stuff to people that might exasperate the issues such as cyberbullying or real life bullying. I feel like since the beginning of time, there's also been people who say, oh, like violence and video games are correlated. Maybe if your kid plays violent games or they consume violent media, they're going to become more violent. And I don't know if this was actually proven to be the case. I mean, I played a lot of violent games when I was a kid.
I did too.
It turned me into a violent person. It showed me that this type of stuff was only meant to be fiction and not real life. But I
That's
could see how
true.
other people who maybe are not on that same maturity might practice things that they see in the game and do it in real life, or say things that they see online and do it in real life. And speaking more about what they see in real life, there is definitely things like, oh, community gun violence, maybe gang violence, domestic violence within households that cause kids to replicate that.
Children who
Oh,
witness
no.
domestic violence in the home are significantly more likely, in some studies 5 to 10 times more likely, to be the victim of intimate partner violence in their adult relationships or the perpetrator of violence.
Oh, no. I mean,
You know
I
what?
feel like
Recently
that's
I've been saying, oh,
true. It
kids are being
sounds
whooped
true.
more of these days, or kids are not getting whooped more of these days. But actually, it's proven that kids being whooped or physically disciplined / punished actually makes a more violent or dangerous child.
Researchers found that children who were spanked were more likely to have an increased rate of negative outcomes. This includes antisocial behavior, aggressive behavior, and long-term mental health
Oh,
problems.
no.
But also, interestingly, children who were spanked were also more likely to exhibit a negative impact on cognitive development, demonstrating overall lower IQ scores and
Really?
poorer academic performance.
And it makes sense
Oh,
because
that's not
kid, I
good.
feel like whooping a kid after they do something bad shows them that violence is the answer. Literally. They're gonna grow up subconsciously thinking that, oh, whenever somebody does something bad, the real answer is putting your hands on them because that is what your parents did to you. Another interesting concept is the lack of faculty and staff within schools. Nowadays, as we know, teachers are not enjoying their time, okay? They're getting
Oh,
into
yeah,
it
the
with
teachers
kids,
really
they're
are
arguing with
going through the
kids, they're
trenches.
experiencing undisciplined, lackluster students, and they don't want to do this job. I'm not gonna lie, if I had kids like this who couldn't read, who couldn't write, and they were just being disrupted in my class, I would be crashing out the same.
I fucking hated teaching. Not all teachers should get paid more. I was high sometimes.
I would hate teaching too.
Yeah, there was one moment where I was like, F this job, I hate this. And one of my students came up to me and he goes, Mr. Yu, what would you do if your son was gay? I was like, I wouldn't care if my son was gay as long as he was like with someone that made him happy and treated him right. And I thought like I taught him a lesson because he stopped.
That's a good lesson.
He just goes, that's gay.
With incidents like these,
What?
among the low pay,
Some
there
kids
is
just-
probably going
they're
to be a
just
shortage in faculties,
dumb.
which will lead to more violence on campus because there's just not nearly enough adults to supervise 1,000 more students. I mean, in my high school, they had 2,000 students, and it got to the point where we needed armed security on campus, bro. At the end of the day, all of this behavior really starts at home. Making sure they're able to regulate their emotions is not the responsibility of a goddamn teacher, okay? If you're a parent watching this video, yo, make sure you lock in on your child. We don't need more violent kids because we are
It's
already
true.
experiencing that. And it's not just me saying this. I mean, really nowadays, it feels like a lot of parents either don't have time or they straight up don't care. Like, there are times as a grown adult, right, I'll be walking around and I'll see kids who are supposed to be in school and it's like, bro, what are you doing at this time of day? Like, do you not have somewhere to be? And this is actually a phenomenon that a lot of people online are starting to notice.
Every time I turn around, these kids are not in fucking school. It's like a new made-up fucking holiday every fucking day.
In conclusion, kids
They're
are becoming
skipping,
more violent.
like, every
There's more bullying
day.
going around. More damaged goods, more damaged property, which I didn't even really talk about the property, like the Chromebook challenge and things like that. With the violent kids, it feels like parents are kind of giving up in a way. They don't care as much. We're also seeing a drop off and decline in the amount of teachers that are participating or want to take jobs. Social media glamorizing fight culture, violence, school weaponry incidents being on the uprise, and other weird trends that glorify bringing back bullying. It is no surprise that school fights are on the rise and school violence is on the rise.
It's definitely no
Let me know what you think down
surprise.
below in the comment section. Have you noticed, if you're a kid in school right now, high school, middle school, or even for some reason elementary school when you're watching this video, let us know in the comment section down below if you're noticing a rise, if you're seeing a bunch of school fights, you're seeing cyberbullying going on. But that's gonna do it for today's video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, join me.
That was a good
in the
video.
description. With that being said, have a great rest of your day. It's Love Hello. I love you, and I'm out.